Hi guys, I'm recording for my MYP Algebra 2. Today I'm going to be talking over the terminology that we went over on polynomial graphing. So pretty much the last couple slides. If you have any questions on what these words mean, please make sure you come talk to me. Alright, so this is pretty much what we were looking at on the very last thing we did in class. So we're going to go over it one more time in case you missed some of it. I'm giving you this polynomial function. One of the words they can ask you to describe is shape. Shape is just basically the squiggle that it looks like. Shape goes over here. Shape never goes on graph paper. To find the shape, you are just going to put this into your y equals negative x to the fourth plus 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 8, and we're going to hit the graph button. What shows up on this screen, as long as I can see all the ups and downs, is what's going to go over here. Put that back up so you can see it. Notice, kind of looks like small mountain, big mountain. Small mountain, big mountain. Is it exact? No. Is it close enough? Yes. This would be good enough to describe the shape, but it is not good enough to graph. We'll go over everything you need to do for a graph in a moment. For end behavior, we're talking about the arrows that's written in infinity terminology. You start with this arrow first. Things in this quadrant, x is negative, y is negative. And then to this quadrant, or x is positive, y is negative over here. This quadrant, x is negative, y is negative, and we're going to put that into infinity terminology. So we're going to, if it'll let me delete it, come on. Okay, there it is. So x is positive, y is negative, x is negative, y is positive. One more time on the graph. X is positive, y is negative, x is negative, y is negative. Right? Don't overthink it. Where the x's are, what value they would have, positive or negative, and what goes in front of the infinity sign. We can then use maximum number of terms. Maximum number of terms is this number up here, the lead term of a 4. 4 minus 3, 4 minus 1 then, to get my maximum number of terms, is 3. I should have all 3, 1, 2, 3, so I need to identify them. We can identify them on my calculator screen. This is a maximum, this is a minimum, this is a maximum, and it's a calculator trick. I will do only one. Second blue button, trace, gets me to this screen. I'm going to do the first one, which is a maximum, so I'm going to pick 4. Bottom of the screen says left, so I need to arrow over. On the left side, hit enter. Now I need to be on the right side. It doesn't really matter how far left or how far right, as long as you're clearly on the left and clearly on the right. Once I'm on the right, I hit enter. I don't care what your guess is, hit enter. And then once I see maximum at the bottom, if I see this, I'm going to round to 2 decimal places if I have to. Whole numbers if I see them. So I would be saying negative 0.85, negative 6.86. I would repeat the process for this point here at a minimum, and then this point here as a maximum. Notice this point would be a local max, and this one would be a true max. So here are my, I don't know why it's being dumb, but it is. It won't let me delete, so we're just going to have to bear with me. All right, there are my maximum and my minimum values. To find my actual real zeros, that basically means where the hex is across the x-axis. I have to make sure I'm back in y2, y1, and y2. y2 has to be 0. Intersection is only going to work between 2 points. And we're going to go back to second trace, intersection. Once my blinky square comes up, I'm going to move it, enter through the 3 questions. Once I see the word intersection on the bottom, I would again round to 2 decimal places, and there's my intersection point. To do another one, I would just simply repeat the process. Boy, it is really being weird today. Okay, here we go. Delete. All right, so more than one, we write them down. More than one, we write them down. It is really a smart idea to write these down in left to right order. That tends to help you out a lot, particularly when we come to these words with the intervals. We'll see that in a moment. Left to right, left to right, left to right. All right, these are ordered pairs. Ordered pairs can go on a graph. This is what I use then to put on my graph paper. And this, yes, is where I get a lot of my really weird questions that you see on my board. All right, so greens cross the intersection there. Reds are my maximums and my minimums. Then we just connect them left to right. I already know I'm starting down. Red means turn around. Red means turn around. Green means to go through. Red means turn around. Green means go through. And there's my final arrow. This would be an acceptable graph. A lot more detail than just random squiggle. Cool? All right, domain and range. Domain, all my x's are good. Range, though, notice how it doesn't get any higher than this. This red dot right here is then an absolute maximum or a true maximum, so that would affect my range. My range is going to be lower than this value right here. Since range is on y, it's going to be lower than this y value. Domain is then all reals, and range is y is less than or equal to the y value of that true maximum. Intervals, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 intervals. I will need to write all 4 intervals. Increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. Intervals always start off with squiggle brackets, they always end with squiggle brackets, and they always repeat the less than or equal to sign. So the squiggle bracket, less than or equal to x, less than or equal to, and another squiggle bracket. We're starting here. If I'm in this quadrant, my x is negative, negative infinity. Going to this turning point, which is this one right here, I just wrote an x, so I use the x, negative 0.85. Whatever I write here gets repeated down here for the next bracket, and I go to the next interval. This is my next point in line. So 0. 0 is my x. Since it's here, I repeat it, and I go to my next turning point, which is this value, and repeat it. And then where I end down here, and I'm down here. X is positive, so positive infinity. The only thing we didn't talk about on this slide was classification. Classification tells you how many terms you have and what's the power of the greatest term. So we'll talk about classification. There is a big old list. If you didn't get a chance to copy it, come see me so you have all the vocab words. My lead term is right here, an x to the fourth. Fourth power is called a quartic, so we would call it a quartic. And then it has 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. So this would be classified as a quartic polynomial of 4 terms. Again, there's a list for vocab for this. Make sure you have it. If you don't have it, come see me.